Hello, good evening, my dear YouTube viewers. Today also we will continue the subject matter relating to the caste, particularly at villages from the colonial perspective, not the original village people point of view, colonial perspectives. Because Britishers used to rule at that time, their view about the village as well as the village caste system. Next, the present caste system undergone number of changes from past Vedic period to contemporary scenario. That's why its forms and features are different from present caste. Example, particularly in the direction of hierarchy, hereditary, occupations, rituals, endogamous, purity, and pollutions, and social distance. It was noticed by Mr. Gurre. Western colonial rulers' influences in shaping the present caste system. The word caste is not belongs to India, but more or less equivalent word is present, that is jati or jat. The word caste is found in Portuguese and Spanish. It is derived from the Latin word castus or casta, and it is travelled this word through Indian Malabar coast and entered into the India in mid 15th century. The caste group consists either purity of blood or racial purity. The colonial interpretation of myth regarding origin of the caste system and its legitimation in Hindu scriptures. All these things are done by their advantage, for their advantage, but not from the side of or benefit of Indian community. In earlier period, the colonial views about caste is totally associated with religion and secular features, particularly in Hindu society. William Jones in 1700, he translated in a particular book Laws of Manu. This caste system features are from Hindu Varna system. So caste and Varna is having the more or less same features and become popular from modern form, particularly during British period. It was recognized by Mr. M.N. Srinivas, 1962. The Varna system arranged the hierarchical form. It is broadly divided into two categories, touchables and untouchables. The untouchables comes under the margin group. They were excluded from many functions from the other group. They were mainly meant for defile or onerous. Onerous means burdensome or polluted activities. They said Varna system was originated from only with the help of divine grace. The mythological view in illustrating like this: the self-sacrifice of primeval creator, that is the Purusha. The four Varnas were derived from four parts of the Purusha. That is, Brahmins emanated from mouth, Kshatriyas from the arms or the shoulders, Vaisyas from the thighs, and the Sudras from the feet. Why? Because mouth is always useful for pure thoughts, pure statements they will give. Always the blessings, useful statement they will pass on. Kshatriyas, protectors from the enemies. Vaisyas, thighs are nothing but the deposition of the fat. That is they were the merchants. And the Sudras from the feet. Here it is, feet is always doing the service activities. For the above three groups, these people will do the some services. Regarding order-wise, Brahmins stood first and others followed. That is Kshatriya, Vaisya and Sudras. In some cases, hypergamy is also practiced. That is, higher caste people can also marry the lower caste girls. or vice versa. Only the lower class girls can marry the higher caste boys. In earlier days, that is Vedic period, even untouchables are integrated in general Varna system mixed with the other groups of people, particularly in Vedic period. But now there is an ambiguity about the positions of the different castes in the hierarchy, especially in the middle region. Now the caste system is viewed as jati than as a varna. It was noticed by Betteley. The jati is a classification category other than the race. Srivastava quoted. The missionaries and Orientalists were the first groups to study about the caste system. From the Western or the British point of view, missionaries and the Orientalists. Missionaries and Orientalists treated the caste is a major hurdle or the major barrier or the problem to propagate the gospel, that is the Christianity. Indologists reinforced the text view of caste. Orientalist is the group of people, particularly those countries from the East Mediterranean. They were created the Oriental despotism, a cruel ruling on the village republics, independent rule of the villages. According to Du Bois, he said Brahmins cleverly constructed the caste system by turning the civil institution into sacred and immutable feature of society. Immutable is nothing but unchangeable feature of the society, and it perpetuates the Brahmanica, and it is allows to perpetuate the Brahmanical supremacy. They use it to dilute the rules of caste as if it is a meaningless. So they reinforced them to convert it into Christianity. But Orientalists like the William Jones and Max Muller were against to this phenomenon, that is the government, who were the rulers. Added to this, they emphasized to understand what is the ancient Indian civilization, what are those features in general, and also caste system and its features in specific. They want to study it instead of the shifting or conversion. Who were there? Orientalists. The Manus Dharma Shastra acquired as a canonical important with applied legal importance or significance. Canonical means is nothing but the Catholics rules. Earlier Protestants and Catholics, particularly here it is Catholics rule. Each segment or the unit is strongly guided by the fixed rules of behavior understood by the Kohan. The interactions with other are prescribed by Brahmin community only. They were decided particularly with untouchables, that is they were encapsulated social relations among the different groups. Once again we will recap the information. The caste system from the Britishers or the colonial perspective. The present caste system undergone number of changes from past Vedic period to the contemporary scenario. That's why its forms and features are different from present castes. Example, in the view of or in the direction of hierarchy, hereditary, occupations, rituals, endogamous, purity and pollutions, and finally the maintain the social distance observed by Mr. Gurre. Western colonial rule influences in shaping the present caste system. The present caste system, it was not like earlier. It is a design, its features are different. So who will shape them? Only the Western colonial rulers. The word caste is not belongs to India, but more or less equivalent word is present in India, that is the jati or jat. The word caste is found in Portuguese and Spanish. Basically, the etymological meaning that is in the Latin language derived from castus or casta, that is nothing but the group. And it is this word is travelled through the India's Malabar coast, particularly in mid 15th century. This caste group consists either purity of blood or racial purity. The colonial interpretation of myth regarding origin of the caste system and its legitimation in Hindu scriptures. All these things had done by for their advantage, but not from the side of or benefit of Indian community. In earlier period, the colonial views about the caste is totally associated with religion and secular features, particularly in Hindu society. Mr. William Jones translated the laws of Manu. This caste system features are from Hindu Varna system. So Varna's features and caste features are more or less same and become popular modern. In the modern view, during particularly the British period, it was noticed by Mr. M.N. Srinivas. This Varna system arranged in hierarchical form. It is broadly divided into two categories, touchables and untouchables. The untouchables comes under margin group. They were excluded from many functions. They were mainly meant for defile or onerous is nothing but the burdensome or polluted activities. So untouchables means polluted people. That is the notion in the villages. They said Varna system was originated from the divine grace only. So the divine grace name is nothing but from the mythological view point of view or mythological view is illustrating the self-sacrifice of primeval creator, that is Purush. The four Varnas were derived from four parts of Purush. That is Brahmins emanated from mouth, Kshatriyas from arms, Vaisyas from the thighs and the Sudras from the feet. Regarding order-wise, Brahmins stood first and followed by Kshatriyas, Vaisyas and Sudras. In some cases, hypergamy is also practiced. That is, lower caste people can marry the higher caste people. Particularly, boys should be the higher, girls should be the lower. In earlier or Vedic period, even untouchables are also integrated in general Varna system. They were not excluded, they were not separated, they were mixed together. But at present, there is an ambiguity and the confusion about the positions of different castes in the hierarchy, especially in the middle region. Now the caste system is viewed as jati than the varna. Now the caste system is giving most favorism towards the jati rather than the varna system. Earlier we thought caste and varna is one and same, but now the Bertille is thinking caste is closer to jati rather than the varna. So here there are three words. Caste and jati is close rather than caste and varna. The jati is a classification category other than the race. So the Srivastava, the another professor, wants to show the relationship race and the jati. The missionaries and Orientalists were the first groups to study the caste system. Who were the first group to study in India? Missionaries, that is the Christian group people, and also religious based Christians, and general civilians like the Orientalists. They want to study in India, caste system. Missionaries and Orientalists treated caste as a major hurdle, obstacle or the barrier to propagate the Christianity or the gospel. Indologists reinforced the textual view of caste. Already I told you, Indologist. The literature or the language, whatever it may be related to the India. Then the Orientalists. Orientalists are nothing but the group of people or the countries from the East Mediterranean. They use it to create the Oriental despotism, that is the cruel ruling, and also village republics. Each village is the independent rather than the dependents. Mr. Dubas said, Brahmins cleverly constructed the caste system by turning a civil institution into sacred and immutable feature of the society. The civilian institution turned into the religious institution. Immutable is nothing but the unchangeable condition, feature of society. To perpetuate the Brahminical, because of this, the Brahmin's status is always with the supreme. Perpetuate the Brahminical supremacy. They use it to dilute the rules of caste as if it is a meaningless. So they reinforced them to convert into the Christianity. But Orientalists like William Jones and Max Muller were against to this phenomenon. That is, because they were the rulers, their way of thinking, they want to do the some favor to the public. So that's why their thought process is entirely different from the religious people thought process. Added to this, they emphasized to understand the ancient Indian civilization in general, how the people will be lived from the sociological point of view. And also they want to study caste system in particular. The Manu Dharma Shastra acquired as a canonical importance with applied legal importance and significance. Canonical is nothing but the with the help of Catholic rules and regulations. Because earlier religious leaders were the societal leaders are the kings. Each segment of the unit is strongly guided by the fixed rules of behavior noticed by Mr. Cohen. The interactions with others are prescribed by Brahmins community only, particularly with the untouchables. That is, they were encapsulated the social relations among the different groups of people in the village. By this, today's lecture is completed. This is Bindu taking leave from the YouTube platform. So, regular caste system is different, and from the colonial British or the Westerners point of view, how they understood the caste system. Some people, religious based people wants to convert them, whereas the leaders, the kings or the rulers, they do not want to convert them. Instead of that, they want to see the Indian society as it stands, and also caste system how it is. Instead of keeping them as it is, some missionaries, they want to convert them. But being a rulers, they do not want to convert them. They want to understand them. What is the logic behind that for this culture to stand like that? Okay, this is Bindu taking leave from the YouTube platform. If possible, please do subscribe. Good day and good night.